Station weather is brought to you by Reactin. Provides 24-hour relief for your worst allergy symptoms.
18.7, that was the temperature yesterday, and when you get a temperature that warm, things start to grow. And when things start to grow, seasonal allergies start to kick their way in. Total pollen level for today, and this is an aggregate of all pollen. It's very high, on the very high side. And some of those plant species out there, trees and shrubs that are making it on the very high side include cedar and juniper. On the moderate side, for those sufferers, alder, aspen, and poplar. Let's take a look what we got going on this morning as we're just starting to see that sunrise here in the city of Toronto. But combined with the warmth, what's going to help get things growing is also some moisture that's starting to work its way up towards us, and with that, overcast skies have already built their way in. Mild morning, temperature sitting right around 7, and prepare for around after 7:30 tonight, wet weather. And that wet weather sticks around through the overnight, through the day on Thursday, that is through the day on Wednesday, and will start to wrap its way up on Thursday morning. And then we'll clear out the skies Thursday afternoon at 15. Also want to warn you, tomorrow morning we could see some fog patches on the road, but today you get a high of 16. Carrie, over to you.
All right, thanks, Frank. Well, Shepherd or Ellesmere, those are the routes you want to take this morning as opposed to the westbound 401 across Scarborough. There is still a full closure of the express lanes on the westbound 401 from approaching Morningside over to Nielsen. And that is all for a collision investigation. We are seeing a very heavy backup building on the westbound 401. It starts to get jammed as you get close to Port Union in those collector lanes, and then both the express and collectors are slow going as you head through Meadowvale, and you'll be forced into those collector lanes once you get towards Morningside. West of Nielsen, though, things are looking good. By the time you get to Markham Road, it's pretty much wide open. Eastbound on the 401, it's starting to fill in now as you head past the 427 over towards the 400, both express and collectors just gradually building, but still a really good drive on the Don Valley Parkway in either direction. Taking a look at the eastbound Gardner, that's still moving along at a pretty decent pace as you head into downtown. Don't forget, in town, still have Yonge Street closed off in both directions, and that's between Shepherd and Cummer, all for that investigation after yesterday's incident. Finch is closed as well in both directions for 1 block on either side of Yonge. That's a look at traffic. We'll send it downstairs.
A memorial to the 10 people killed and 15 others injured in the attack on Yonge Street in North York continues to grow. Toronto coming together here. Let's go live to our Tammie Sutherland, who's on Yonge Street at the scene of this horrific event. Tammie, you've actually been speaking to a number of people there, including the person who started this memorial.
Yes, that's right, Melanie. I spoke to a young man who actually arrived here on scene yesterday about an hour after the van attack occurred. He said what he saw really prompted him to start this. He got one piece of paper, some markers, and put a condolence sign down and a message, and it spread out to this right now, where there are candles and flowers and, of course, messages in all different languages that have been written down. We heard from him earlier this morning.
I've met people who were helping here on the street attending to the victims, and I've met people who were just too horrified with blood and gore and they couldn't do anything. And at the same time, I've heard so much goodness coming out of our community. You can read the messages; they're in every language. You know, we will get through this. I think this hashtag Toronto Strong right now, I think that pretty much captures the spirit of our community. You know, we are strong. We'll get through this.
Now, the attack that happened here on Yonge Street between Finch and Shepherd claimed the lives of 10 people. That is confirmed, as well as 15 others who were injured. One of those who are among the dead has now been confirmed to City News as Anne-Marie D'Amico. She works here in the area. She also has in the past worked with Tennis Canada and the Badminton and Racquet Club of Toronto. Her family and friends confirm that she is among the dead, and we, of course, likely are going to be hearing more about victims' identities. Police are expected to provide another update later this afternoon. Mel, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Tammie, thank you so much for that update. And of course, we'll check in with you in just a bit. Meanwhile, City News also speaking with a woman on the phone who witnessed the arrest of the suspect. And that takedown was captured on social media. Toronto police officer as well, now being praised for his bravery.
And a cop got out of his car and they had a little bit of a standoff. And then the guy whipped something out of his pocket, and we thought it was a gun maybe. But you couldn't really see it. It looked kind of a little too square to be a gun, but we weren't sure. And they were just yelling back and forth at each other. And, you know, the cop had his gun out. He's telling him to drop it. The guy started going towards him. And the cop started to back off a little bit. And then I feel like maybe the cop realized that it was a phone or a wallet or something. And that's when he, you know, went towards the guy and, you know, told him to drop it again. And the guy just dropped it and got on the floor.
The accused driver, 25-year-old Alec Manassian, is due in court this morning. The charges so far have not been released. Now, much of the devastation after yesterday's attack playing out on social media. Witnesses immediately going online, sharing pictures and video documenting the horror. Now, there is a practical side to this as well. Toronto police say that they can use these images and video as evidence. In fact, they've set up a web portal for witnesses to submit their photos or video or on this incident. You can see the website here. They're also asking for witnesses to call this number, 416-808-8750, if you have any information. So again, the address for you to submit any photos and videos, torontopolice.on.ca/Yonge Finch. Now, this is still very much an active crime scene, so there are a number of road closures in effect, as Carrie mentioned. Public transit will also be affected, so let's start there. TTC trains will be bypassing North York Centre Station on Line 1 when service is up and running, which it is now. Customers using GO Transit can board anywhere in Toronto with their Presto card or transfer. TTC customers can also use GO Transit vehicles with their TTC transfer or Metro Pass. GO buses will not be serving stops along Yonge Street or the York Mills and Finch bus terminals. Everyone is being told to stay away from the area. Yonge Street closed off again from Shepherd up to Finch, and then a block in each direction along Finch for pedestrians as well as vehicles. If you are part of a business in the area, you're asked to use the rear entrances. Also closed off Beecroft Road from Finch to North York Boulevard. And a number of facilities will also be closed off in the area that we should mention. North York Civic Centre, Mel Lastman Square, and the Douglas Snow Aquatic Centre all closed off today. To other news now, just days after laying his wife to rest, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush is in hospital, reportedly in critical condition. The 93-year-old ex-president was seen greeting mourners as his wife, Barbara Bush, lay in state late last week. The couple had been married for 73 years. Bush was reportedly rushed to hospital Sunday, the day after the funeral, said to be suffering a blood infection. The 41st president and father to another former president, George W. Bush, is said to be responding well to treatment. He remains in a Texas hospital this morning. An intense manhunt for a person suspected of opening fire in a Nashville area Waffle House, killing 4, has ended. Authorities catching up with 29-year-old Travis Reinking after tips from the public. He was armed at the time. Early Sunday, police say for some reason he walked into this restaurant, opened fire. A customer managed to wrestle the gun away from the accused before he ran off naked into the woods. Police say that he was known to them after showing up at the White House in July, insisting to see Donald Trump.